Line's good.
Never on.
Whoa.
Hard. Hardly.
Come on, Brent. Line's good. Got real close.
I hear high, right?
Try and hit 2/3.
Have they saved it for her? Yes, they have.
Welcome to Game of Stones, everybody. I am Sean Graham, Scott alongside, as always. Hello, Scott.
Sean, hi. I was saying to you just before we got on, I think my window is open in my office here, and that can only mean one thing.
What's that?
It's not freezing cold here in Ottawa.
That's true. The snow, the snowbank in front of my house, which not that long ago was taller than me, is almost all gone at this point. And not the one that the city removed either. The other one behind the one the city removed is almost gone. I am on the sunny side. I do face south. So my neighbors across the street, they still have snow on their lawn, but not so much on my side.
No, it's really crazy. We I think we went to Montreal on the weekend, and there was a lot of snow when we left, and by the time we got home, almost none.
Yeah. I saw somebody wearing shorts today.
Well, that's crazy.
Yeah, I thought so. But it is very nice here in the nation's capital. Apologies to those of you in northeastern Ontario, which I believe has a forecast of like 30 centimeters of snow or something kind of nuts like that. And for everyone else across the country still dealing with the snow in the winter. But of course, Scott, as always tends to happen here, we're sure to get another snowstorm, as is wont to happen late March or early April.
Always, Sean. There's always one more storm. So waiting for that to come in. But in the meantime, it feels nice to, breathe that fresh air.
Yes, absolutely. Get out a bit more. And it is an absolute delight. So with that, as we talked about last week, we're going to turn our attention this week to the Wheelchair World Curling Championships and the Wheelchair Mixed Doubles Curling Championship, both of which have taken place and are in the books to finishing up in Scotland over the last couple of weeks. We wanted to go through and talk about them because not only do we have not quite new world champions in both, but world champions have been crowned in both events, and the Paralympic qualification is over. We do have the 10 teams in the wheelchair event and the 8 teams in the wheelchair mixed doubles event, and we wanted to go through and talk about that. So Scott, let's go in chronological order of when these events took place. We'll start with the 4-person wheelchair event.
Okay.
Last year, Scott, one of our bold predictions on our 2024 Bold Predictions podcast was that China would not win the gold medal, which I know what you're thinking. That doesn't sound like a big, bold prediction that a country's not going to win. But in fact, that is a very bold prediction. And they did not win, but they are back this year. Wang Haitao alongside Chen Jianxin, Zhang Ming Liang, and Li Nana are your 2025 World Wheelchair Champions. Scott, what is amazing about this run that Wang Haitao is on, to me, it's not that he's on a sort of Gushu type run at the Briar, right? He has won now 4 world championships since 2019. So 2019, 2021, 2023, and now 2025. Of course, there was not one in 2020. And then a bronze in 2024. So just an incredible run here for Wang Haitao, but it's that his team is changing as well, right? The team last year that won the bronze was different from the team that won the gold in 2022, which was different from the team that won the gold in 2022. So Scott, like, this is a run, and he is the only constant on these teams. Now, obviously, China has a very deep bench in the wheelchair game because you do need all 4 players. But the fact that he is the constant and the pieces around him move and he continues to find success, I don't have the depth of knowledge on the wheelchair game and the history of the wheelchair game, but he has to be, based on this run, in the conversation for the best wheelchair player of all time.
Definitely, Sean. I'm looking at the team, and yeah, some of the players are the same, but have switched different positions, and like all of that team dynamic stuff. That obviously there's no sweeping in this event, but you have to manage it all. You have to call the game properly, and then most importantly, you have to execute the shots. Right,
Yeah.
the shooter is more important in this discipline. So yeah, it's so impressive. I thought our bold prediction we might get it.
Yeah.
We might come through this year, but no, they just dominated this this event.
Yeah. Now, they did not win all of their games. If you look at the standings through the round robin portion of the event, they did lose twice. And what's interesting to me, Scott, in the 2 games that they lost is when they were held to 2 and 3 points, respectively.
Mm-hmm.
In the other games, like all the games they won, they kind of crushed people and they were scoring a lot of points, including in the final, the gold medal game. They won 14-3 over the Koreans. They just have an incredible ability to put up a lot of points. And Scott, when you look at the numbers around what China did, so they played 13 games in this event, their force efficiency was 79%. Their hammer efficiency was 56%. Nobody else was close to that.
No.
The second place was Canada at 39%. That's an incredible efficiency for hammer. And the wheelchair game tends to have a lot more steals than the 4-person game that you're seeing right now in the women's worlds.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the nature of it. Again, without sweepers, it's not quite as precise because you don't have sweepers to help you put the rocks in the right location. So you do have a lot more steals. They only had 6 steals given up against. For 6 points. And when you look at the steals across the board in the field, it's a lot of multiple point steals. For them to have none the entire week, just an absolute, just an incredible stat there, given that they're scoring tons of points. 13 games, they scored 92 points. So there's a lot of rocks in play, and yet they're able to minimize the damage against them in areas where other teams tend to struggle in this style of game.
Yeah, it's crazy when you look at that. And then not only that, they only gave up 2 points 6 times.
Yeah.
And they never gave up more than 2 points.
It's incredible.
In like an incredible amount of ends. I think 20. No, but I can't even count the number of ends. But just like crazy, insane numbers, right? Like,
yeah,
they're executing at a level that you've not seen, you probably won't see.
Mm-hmm.
And then you mentioned they lost twice, Sean. It's not like they lost to the other teams at the top of the table, right? They lost to the US, who I think were out of 13 teams, like 11th or 10th.
Yeah, so it's out of 12 teams in the field, and they finished 11th. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they also lost to Scotland, who was 5-6 and missed the playoffs on a tiebreaker. So it's not like the world beating teams at the top were the ones beating them. They were handling those teams pretty easily.
Yeah, just an absolutely incredible run. As I said, 14-3 over Korea in the final. Toughest game for them was in the semifinal against Team Canada, where they win 5-4 against the Canadians there.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, Scott, really was just a dominant effort post to post for them. So congratulations to Wang, Haitao, and the Chinese team for the gold medal. Of course, if they beat Korea in the final, it means Korea won the silver medal, skipped by Lee Hyun-chul alongside Nan Bong-kwang, Yang Hu-tae, and Yoon Hok-young. So congratulations to them. They had a very good week for the Korean side. They finish, of course, in second place, and did finish second place in the round robin as well, going 8-3. So they got the bye to the semifinals, same format as in the men's and women's world championship. Top 6 make the playoffs, top 2 get the bye to the semis. So the Koreans are able to get through. They beat the Slovakians in their semifinal. The bronze medal goes to the Canadians, who beat the aforementioned Slovakians in that bronze medal game. So congratulations to John Thurston, Gil Dash, Douglas Dean, Kalinda Joseph for the bronze medal there. Other playoff teams were Slovakia and Norway and Sweden. So Slovakia beat Sweden in one quarterfinal. The Canadians beat Norway in the other. Scott, is there anything else that stands out to you from this event?
The point differential we already talked about. It was like China plus 51 on the points, Canada plus 20 in second place. So like just the sort of absolute gap in the scoring, just sort of like hammering in your opponent, all that kind of stuff. That really stood out for me. And then just the countries that we have at this event, a little bit different than we see at some other international events. You know, we have Team England here, Slovakia, as you mentioned, making the playoffs. Latvia's in this field. So interesting sort of opportunity to see some other curling nations that we don't always see at the Worlds sometimes, but it is nice to see here. So you mentioned, Sean, the Paralympics are now set. Do you want to wait till we do the mixed doubles, or do you want to drop that now?
Yeah, no, let's go through it now. And so with the Paralympic Games, you have 10 teams that will compete in the mixed team event, is what they call the 4-person wheelchair event. Italy gets the guaranteed spot as the host. So the way it works is from 2023 through 2025, those 3 world championships points were allocated for each country based on the results. First place got you 14 points, and then 12 for second, 10 for third, and then 1 point less for each of the following results. So 9 for fourth, 8 for fifth, so on and so forth, all the way down to 1 point. So the qualified teams after Italy, the top ranking team, unsurprisingly, is China, 2 world championship wins in those 3 years. Then Canada is next, 34 points. Korea is in the 3rd position, followed by Norway, Sweden, Great Britain, which is Scotland. England doesn't count points towards Team GB. It's only the Scottish points that qualified them. Slovakia, the United States, and Latvia. Next out, our first team out is Czechia, but I mean, you can feel bad for them, but don't feel too bad for them, because even if Italy didn't have the guaranteed spot, they did have more points than Czechia. So so the guaranteed spot didn't take anything away based on points. So those are your 10 teams.
And Czechia not in this event.
Correct.
So they didn't have the chance to earn more points.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Japan had a chance. They didn't participate last year, had 1 point in 2023, a win, and based on the way it ended up working out, a silver medal also would have gotten Japan in. And same for Denmark. They had a chance, or would have had a chance going into the season, but Denmark did not make it into the field as well. So there wasn't that much on the line in terms of qualifying here. Japan would have had to go on a run, but otherwise things were relatively set for the mixed wheelchair Paralympic qualification.
Yeah, no big surprises in that field, either on the inside or on the outside looking in.
Sure. So with that field set, Scott, I mean, we just spent 5 minutes talking about how dominant Wang Haitao is. Definitely the favorite, I think, going into it.
Has to be, yeah. Like they might not win, but sure. I think it's the randomness that would cause them not to win, rather than the lack of skill and ability, right? So they're the heavy favorites, I would say. But as always, there's, I think, a little more variation in the wheelchair game, just based on, it's much more on the thrower. There's less, there's no sweeping, so you don't have that aspect to control. But at the same time, that makes their run all that more impressive. That they're just able to dominate in a field where nobody else is able to do quite what they're able to do, in the sense of not giving up, multiple points, not giving up steals.
Yeah, and I think the other thing to look for as we go into the Paralympics is what the lineups are going to be for some of these countries. We'll talk about Canada in a minute as to what Canada's lineup could be, because there's, I think, a very interesting discussion to be had moving forward for the Canadian team, despite a very good result for John Thurston and the rest of the team here. But if you look at, say, the Americans, right, they've had worse results the last 3 years at this event, going from earning 7 points to 4 points to 2 points. What does their lineup look like moving forward? Same with the Latvians coming in last here. They had a much better result last year. So what is the lineup going to look like for some of these teams, especially those that had a weaker or struggled more this week than in previous years? That's something to keep an eye on. Frankly, the Chinese lineup is something to keep an eye on too, because it's changed every year. So how does China want to line up going into the Paralympic Games, and how are they going to structure it? So I think a lot of moving parts here on the wheelchair mixed side and the 4-person game. And but everything is now set, and we have a field, and we have a clear favorite.
Yeah, so it's pretty exciting, right? To have that sort of locked in. We know what we'll be looking forward to in 2026, and like all that's left now is to get out on the ice and see if our expectations live up to how the event plays out.
All right, Scott, let's shift over now then to the wheelchair mixed doubles world championship, which also took place in Scotland. That event took place the week after the 4-person game, and congratulations to Japan, your gold medalist there. The team of Agawa Aki and Nakajima Yoji winning the gold medal, beating the Scottish team of Charlotte McKenna and Hugh Hiblo in the final. So a big congratulations to them. A bit of a blowout in the final, unfortunately, for all the spectators who want close games in the final. 11-2 for the Japanese in the final. The bronze medal game was Estonia and Caitlin Ridebach beating, and Anne Villan beating the Koreans of Kim Hae-min and Jeong Jung-ho. So congratulations to the Estonians there. It is a 9-5 finish for them. Scott, I don't want to be too Canada-centric in this, though. Canada did make the playoffs. They lost in the quarterfinal 7-6 to the eventual world champion Japanese team. A little different at the mixed doubles world championship in that it went to quarterfinals, like real quarterfinals, where there was 4 games, 8 teams, as opposed to the kind of fake quarterfinals that you get with the 6-person qualifying. But Scott, the Canadians went undefeated, 6-0 through the round robin. And I would say that they were the best team in the field through the round robin. They were plus 38 on their scoring. That includes the playoff games. They scored 21 multiple ends. They only gave up 5 multiple ends. They stole 20 points. They gave up steals of 10 points. They were just the best team out there for the first 6 games, and then lost by a point in that semifinal game, or the quarterfinal game, excuse me. Them and the Koreans were the only 2 teams that went through unscathed. Japan went 4-2, finishing second in their pool. It just really kind of a gut punch for the Canadians, represented by Mark Ideson and Ina Forrest, 2 very decorated Paralympians and world champions in the mixed event, the 4-person wheelchair event. And they're just out in the quarterfinal.
Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe you can tell me, Sean. So Norway finished as the 2nd seed going into the playoffs. So Korea was the 1. Norway was the 2, but Norway had lost a game.
Yeah.
So when I look at the standings, at the merged standings, for some reason, Norway, by finishing first in Group A1, even though they had lost the game, I'm not really sure why. Maybe I'm not reading it properly. But then, yes, yeah, they lost to China in session 9. And if I do the standings in the pools, yeah, they were 5-1, Canada 6-0, Korea 6-0. So I don't really understand why it worked that way, that Canada ended up playing the 6-seeded Japan instead of playing Estonia,
Right.
who was the number 7 team. Turns out Norway lost to Estonia anyway, so I mean, whatever. But a little interesting. Canada also, so they didn't have the hammer for that game based on draw shot challenge, which is also a little weird that the higher seed wouldn't get the hammer, but okay. And then gave up a single in the first, steal a 2. Then they had to use their power play in the third end. Did well with it, got 4 points. But then, we're at the disadvantage of not having the power play available to them later in the game. Japan was able to convert theirs, and Canada wasn't able to get more than a single the rest of the way. So, yeah, tough circumstances under which to, be one of the 2 undefeated teams, and then face that 1 and out, and not get any results for it. It's what the curlers always say at the Olympics, right? Is that semifinal is the game that's got the most pressure on it, because it's, you lose and you don't have a chance at a gold anymore.
Yeah.
You win, you're guaranteed a medal. You can sort of breathe a bit. Everybody wants the gold, but knowing that you're getting a medal for sure is pretty great. But then, yeah, it's the anxiety of that semifinal. So in this case, yeah, the anxiety of those quarterfinals, especially as we'll discuss, this determines who's in the Paralympics. Pretty nerve-wracking. And so, yeah, maybe there's some questions that I would like to just have answered. I'm not saying that the best team didn't win. They obviously, Japan went on to win the entire event, but just a little bit like, why are we doing that?
Yeah. So in looking at it, Scott, the seedings were determined by draw shot challenge based on the same finish within the group. So all the first place teams in the various groups were then ranked by draw shot challenge.
All right.
And then second place, same thing. And then the 2 third place qualifiers. So because you didn't play each other, they went draw shot challenge as opposed to a pure standing to determine what your ranking was. I don't know if I like that. I think I understand the rationale behind it, but I don't think I agree with it.
Yeah, I guess like you could be in a harder pool and, lose one game, and you should have the chance to be better, I guess, because you didn't play those other teams. But yeah,
I mean, but it's also mixed doubles. The games take 90 minutes. You could take all the qualified teams, and so if you're going to qualify 8, you've already played one of them. You could play another 5 games.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know.
Like the games don't take that long. Like everyone's there.
No,
right?
Yeah.
Or you go to 6, or you qualify the top 2 from each pool, and then you have to play 4 more games. And you can do that in a day. That's not that hard. Well, I'm not the one playing. I'm like, it's not that hard. Just play 4 games. It's easy. But with the mixed doubles, you could play 4 games in a day and you have time to do so.
For sure. Yeah. And so, it's a little confusing also seeing like, why Japan was 6, why, all of these questions as to why things were the way they were. I don't know. The World Curling Federation seems to love the draw shot challenge. No tiebreakers. We're seeing it now here in Canada as well. I don't know. Tiebreakers are fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But I mean, tough way to go out. So obviously, like, you don't play your best game. that's the way it goes. That's a lot of sports, right? Tennis, you don't play your best match. Well, sorry, you're out in the second round. But yeah, like this, given that this is the one big event for wheelchair mixed doubles, it's not like there's a tour or anything. So yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, and this is sort of the compromise that we've seen with mixed doubles. So you have the wheelchair mixed doubles that is more in line with the old mixed doubles used to be with able-bodied curlers, where kind of everyone can play, like all the associations who want to put in a team can. And then we've seen on the mixed doubles with able-bodied players, it's limited now, and then there's the qualifier, and then the AB, right? And so the compromise of having everybody, all the member associations being able to put in a team is, well, you can't have a full round robin, and you have to kind of have some sort of a compromise in how you qualify for the playoffs, and what is the structure going to be. I mean, 8 is better than like the 16 team playoff that they used to do, so steps in the right direction, but there something has to give somewhere. It's either every member association who wants to put in a team can put in a team, or you have maybe a convoluted qualification process.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to note, Scott, from the mixed doubles here is the power play stats. There were 104 power plays used over the course of the event. 74 points were scored by teams employing the power play. Just to emphasize how dominant Canada was, they scored 21 of those 74 points. So nearly a third, more than a quarter of the points scored on the power play were scored by Canada. Just a really great week by Mark Ideson and Ina Forrest.
Yeah, a really great week. Disappointed that there's not more to show for it, but a good week by them. Definitely should be proud.
Yes. So with the mixed doubles wheelchair world championship in the books, we do have our 8 qualifying teams for the 2026 Paralympic Games. Little different than in the 4-person, as the guaranteed spot for Italy does take away a place from a potentially other qualified team. The Italians finished with 11 total points, did not participate in this event this year, so they had no points from this week.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, excuse me. They just did not earn any points.
Yes, did not earn points
this week. My apologies. So the teams that have qualified in in first place in total points accumulated, it is Korea, followed by the United States, then China, Japan, Latvia, Great Britain, and Estonia. So those are your 8 teams who have qualified for the Paralympic Games next year. Slovakia is the first one out with 19 points, and then it is the Canadians finishing in the 9th position on total points. They had 17 over the course of the 3 years. The big one was not making the playoffs last year with a 2-4 record, 0 points there. They had to have a good showing this week, which they did, but they really had to win that quarterfinal game. And if they win the quarterfinal game, they're probably in to the Paralympics. But with that loss to Japan, Canada is out. I am sad for Mark Ideson and Ina Forrest. One of our bold predictions for the year was that Canada would miss in some discipline, and Canada here has missed in the wheelchair mixed doubles. But if we turn our attention, Scott, now to curling Canada, you have a team that just had a pretty good week in the 4-person game. But now you have Mark Ideson and Ina Forrest, who are multi-time Paralympic medalists, multi-time world champion medalists. And you have 4 people who just had a great event. And now you have 2 people who are basically staples of your program. I don't envy whoever is going to have to make this decision on the Paralympic lineup for Canada. I mean, it's like is often the case for Canada. It's kind of, you can't necessarily go wrong because you have a lot of really strong players, but by not qualifying, there's some tough decisions to be made now in the halls of curling Canada.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to go back to that sort of model of high performance and see who fits best as a team together and make those hard decisions. You're right, they are difficult. I don't really envy it, but yeah, it's sort of gonna have to be, that's what I guess why they get paid the big bucks.
Yes, or the medium bucks in the case of most sporting federations in Canada.
Yeah. Medium bucks. Yeah.
Unless you're in Vancouver, and then you're adequate bucks for a lot of cities in the country. So that'll be interesting to see what the Canadian decision is for the 4-person game. And then certainly, as we said, with the 4-person game for the countries that did qualify, it'll be interesting to see what lineups are sent and what decisions are made for those countries that have qualified for the mixed doubles. So congratulations to all of them, and certainly a big congratulations to Team Japan on the wheelchair mixed doubles gold medal. So Scott, anything else that caught your attention from the wheelchair world events that were over there in Scotland?
Well, Sean, just quickly, they're in Stevenston in Scotland, part of Ayrshire, rather close to where our family comes from. So, just a town over, I think.
Saltcoats.
Yeah, pretty close. So that's pretty cool. Some people call it ugly. I call it character. Yeah.
There you go. Hope everybody had a good time there. We had a wonderful time there back in 2017, 18, whenever it was.
Yeah.
Went to go over and had a good time.
Yeah, real good time. And my brother-in-law Daniel's from that area too. So we talk fondly about it when we get together.
Yeah. So again, congratulations to all the qualified teams. Unfortunate for Mark Ideson, Ina Forrest. And again, we'll see what happens there. But there you have it. The World Wheelchair Curling Championships, both 4-person and mixed doubles, in the books for 2025. And we are now looking ahead to the 2026 Paralympic Games. 10 qualifiers in the 4-person, 8 qualifiers locked and loaded in the mixed doubles. All right, Scott, before we go, some other things have happened here in the world of curling that we wanted to talk about. The first of which is now this is not necessarily going to be maybe have the broadest appeal. And, we have been accused of an Ontario bias before, but please do please do indulge us on this one. The Ontario Senior Championships took place this past weekend at the Mississauga Golf and Country Club, which fortunately for the Mississauga Golf and Country Club, they decided to put it in Mississauga. So that's a convenient for them.
Very convenient.
The Ontario winners were Mike Harris and Sherry Madaw on the men's and women's side, respectively. Congratulations to them. The bigger story for us, though, is that all our friends lost on Sunday. Our buddy Jesse, who we play with on Monday nights, he was in this playing with Team Johnston. They lost the semifinal to the Crusher on Sunday morning. They were up 3-2 with the hammer playing the 5th end, which is when I turned on the stream. They did not score another point. Found out that there was a couple other people who turned on at the same time or around the same time. So we clearly jinxed them. And we unfortunately, Lori and Mary from Two Girls in a Game, they lost in the final playing with Joanne Rizzo. So a tough day for our friends on Sunday, Scott.
Yeah. And the Team Rizzo was the defending champion, and had made it to the Canadian final the last year. So tough one for them.
Yep.
And yeah, for Jesse and his team, they had played 3 games together before this week, and it was the ones to qualify. So I don't know if their expectations were super high, but
I would say they were adequate. Yeah,
but the field was like crazy
good.
deep.
Really good.
And Howard Rahala wasn't even there, who was I think the defending
who is
champion.
a defending champion and also a former world senior champion.
Yeah, and so just like really, really good field. Very good curling all week. Great job by everyone we know, and great job by all the competitors to go in and really put on a show. I think it was really good. From what Jesse said, there was a lot of people there to watch.
Yep.
Also really cool, and some streams on the weekend were available. So yeah, good job all around by the Ontario Senior Championships.
Yeah, and a good job on the streams too. The folks, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but who did it, but it was really very well done. They had John Epping on the call. So very, very good job all around. And yeah, good job there in Mississauga. Scott, moving on, we did say that there is no last chance qualifier for the Paralympics. The teams are set, but there is a last chance qualifier for men's, women's, and mixed doubles. And it was announced this week that that event is going to take place from the 6th to the 19th of December, not all at the same time. It's going to be consecutive, not concurrent, for the men's, women's, and mixed doubles. That's going to take place at the Kelowna Curling Club. There are 12 sheets at the Kelowna Curling Club, so it can be converted, they're saying, to about 1,000 fans will be able to get in. There are 2 spots going to be available in all 3 of those disciplines. So we'll see who is going to have to go to Kelowna. I personally found it somewhat of a curious location for this event to be, given that it's unlikely, but not impossible, but unlikely, that the 2 North American countries that tend to compete at world championships probably won't have to play in this. So it's a bit of a hike for everybody else.
Yeah, but maybe there's some consideration for that, being like, hey, everybody's got to travel, so let's put it somewhere where it's hard for everybody.
Sure. That's
Maybe.
one way to go about it.
Yeah. And I think like the Kelowna Curling Club's pretty well known as being a big venue, but also will have the ability to do this in December, whereas a lot of other arenas, won't be able to, like if it was a junior hockey rink or something, they probably wouldn't be able to give them 12 days plus time on either side,
right,
to put in ice and facilities and everything. So kind of makes sense to me that it was at a curling facility, that it was in Canada versus somewhere else. I'm not sure. The one for 2022 was in,
I feel like it was
Finland?
in Loha.
Yeah, I want to say that too. I guess there's a thing I could do to figure
Science
it out,
science fiction. No.
Yeah. So yeah, but I don't know. I think it makes some sense to do it in a club facility like this, and I think they'll put on a good show.
I think so. Yeah, I think they're going to do a good job for sure. It just struck me as a somewhat of a curious choice.
Mm-hmm.
So again, everyone is coming to Kelowna there in December. Elsewhere, Scott, we got a couple more announcements. The aforementioned Loha, they are going to be hosting the 2025 European Curling Championship, same place as last year at the Kisakallio Sports Institute in Loha from the 22nd to the 29th of November. Because Curling Canada has moved up the Canadian Olympic Curling Trials, they're actually going to be taking place at the same time. The Canadian Trials are the 22nd to the 30th. So unfortunately, for those who are going to Halifax, you won't have the opportunity to have Nicholas Edin and his team sit behind you and listen into them as they sit next to a Canadian and listen to their critique of the game. Unfortunately.
It's too bad. Yes.
Yes. Also, we got an announcement that the 2026 Men's World Curling Championship is going to be in Ogden City, Utah. So it's going to be all North America next year for the World Curling Championships. That'll take place from March 28th to April 5th at the Weber County Ice Sheet, or maybe it's the Weber County Ice Sheet if you're from Northern Ontario. Scott, that is on the place of Weber State University. Go Wildcats.
Go Wildcats. And this is where the Olympics were for the Salt Lake City, right? I think the curling was in.
Was it in Ogden?
Ogden? Yeah. I'm like 90% sure.
Okay.
So, yeah, a good reason to go back to that area, that neck of the woods. And the U.S. hasn't hosted in a little bit, I don't think. So,
well, they had the Vegas one in 2022.
That's right. But this will be more of a curling environment, you know?
Yes.
So yeah, that'll be fun for everyone.
Yeah. So Scott, and you'll never guess where the women's one is next year.
Is it in Swift Current?
No, it's in Calgary at the Winsport.
Oh, it's at the Winsport,
of course. It's at the Winsport.
I knew that too. Shoot.
Yeah, I'm thinking that some players probably have like actual personalized lockers that are just there all the time, given how much they go to the Winsport. And then finally, Scott, the 2026 Rockfest events, the dates for that have been announced. This is the under 15 event that takes place across the country. It's regional. So the East event is going to be at the Dixie Curling Club in Mississauga from January 22nd to 24th. The Prairies event at the Moose Jaw Curling Center, February 20 to 22nd. The West event at the Calgary Curling Club, March 13 to 15. And the Atlantic at the Cornwall Curling Club and Crapo Community Curling Club in Cornwall and Crapo, PEI, March 20 to 22. So at each of these events, there are 96 players that are under 15 who can qualify and come. It's a mix of instruction and like skills events and games and all that. So from all accounts, it's been really popular. The 2025 events are going on right now, but they've announced 2026. So if you do know anybody who is U15, loves curling, and those events are close to you or they're interested and you can get to them, you can look into qualifying and how that all works on the Curling Canada website. But a great initiative. And so it's great to see that one is going to continue for at least another season.
Yeah. And I like, Sean, that they don't conflict with, the Brier or the Scotties, so that you can still follow your favorite events while at the same time participating in this. Should be pretty cool.
Actually, the East one might conflict with the Scotties being earlier because of the Olympics.
Oh, because of the Olympics.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of the dates. Yeah.
Maybe
you're right.
Yeah. And then the Prairies one would be, I think, that gap between the Olympics and Paralympics, but I have to verify that. So, but certainly check it out if you're in those regions. So the East is Ontario, Nunavut, Quebec, and Northern Ontario in terms of member associations. Prairies are Saskatchewan and Manitoba. The West is Alberta, BC, Northwest Territories, and Yukon. And the Atlantic is New Brunswick, Newfoundland, Labrador, Nova Scotia, and PEI. So that's the eligibility in terms of member associations as to where you can go and where you might be eligible based on where you live. So certainly encourage you to check it out if you know anybody who is U15 and interested. So
absolutely.
That's all I have on my notebook there, Scott, for this week. Anything you want to talk about?
Well, we're airing this in the middle of the Women's World Championships, and we're not going to talk about it now other than Rachel is wearing glasses because she has an eye injury. So don't be concerned. She's working through it, but we were getting some questions in the group chat.
Yes. What I don't understand, Scott, and I'm basing this entirely on a person I used to play with, a very sweet woman who picked up the sport in her 60s. And so she was relatively new when I was playing with her, and I was the skip of this team. It was a Sunday morning league. And she told me once, like she would put on her glasses to see me call the shot, and then she would take her glasses off to throw the shot. And she said to me, when I'm throwing the rock, I'm not quite sure if I'm accurate or not. And I said, well, what if you kept your glasses on to throw? Then you could see the broom the whole time. And she said, that's a good idea. And I thought, okay. And then she did it and she was more accurate. So what I don't understand, like Rachel Homan is wearing her glasses in the house, but not to throw. When I saw that, all I could think about was this woman. Again, very sweet. Like, so I just don't know how it works. I don't know what Rachel's prescription is or anything like that. Or if it's just if it helps rest her eyes a little bit, given the infection. But she doesn't want to throw with them. It's, and I did that as a kid when I first got glasses playing baseball. I would wear them to hit. And then if I got a hit and got to first base, I would take them off.
Well, you don't need to see anything after that.
No, you're good at that point, right? So I get wanting to take them on and off. It's just, I don't know. I as a glasses wearer, I have questions.
Yeah, I mean, Sean, I wish I could say that. I think I got glasses when I was 8, and I don't remember. I've never been able to not wear them. So, yeah, maybe I would just dream of the day I could take my glasses on and off. Wouldn't that be amazing? But here we are.
Yeah, I don't know. I find that on the rare occasion I don't have them on, like when I went to the eye doctor and I don't have them on and she's talking to me about eye health and this and that, I keep reaching to touch them. It's like a phantom glasses. I'm like, what do I adjust?
When I go to, like, if I have to rub my eye, even if I don't have my glasses on, I'll like sneak in from the side.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I don't have my glasses. Whatever. So no, that's the only thing I wanted to say. We'll talk more about the Women's World Curling Championship next time.
Indeed we will.
But no, that's all from me.
All right. And hopefully Rachel Homan's doing better over the course of the week. She looks like her eye looks better today, Wednesday, as we record this, than it did the other day. So
yeah,
it looks like it's getting better.
Eye stuff like really freaks me out. I'm very nervous about anything happening to my eyes. So I didn't investigate any further what it was.
So there you go. With that, as we are recording this in the midst of the Switzerland-Canada game, Scott, just to give a timestamp for everyone out there, what is the score right now as we record this?
Yeah, I just want to make sure I'm alive. They just started the 6th end. It is 4-3 for Switzerland. Canada has the hammer.
All right, so there you go. So that's when we are recording this. By the time it gets out, the game will be final, and we will talk about all the goings on from Korea next week as we recap the Women's World Curling Championship, and we will look ahead to the Men's World Curling Championship, which is taking place somewhere in this beautiful country of ours.
It's taking place not in Swift Current, Saskatchewan, but in the other one. It's also Saskatchewan.
Prince Albert?
No, the one that you like, with Al Capone and the
Moose
the
Jaw.
tunnels. Moose Jaw.
Yeah,
There
Moose
you go.
Jaw. Okay, great. I love Moose Jaw. Yeah, Moose Jaw is a wonderful city. One of my favorites. Yeah.
I hope everyone has fun there.
Yes. So we will talk about the Men's Worlds. We'll preview that. So we'll do what we did last week, where we recap one event, preview the next. We'll do that all next week. So if you want to get that episode and everything else we got coming out, please do subscribe if you have not yet, wherever you get your shows. Like, rate, comment, all that good stuff helps other people find the show, keeps us growing. You can find us over at GameOfStonesPod.com. All past episodes are available under the episode tab, plus a link to the merch. We're on the socials at Game of Stones Pod, Game of Stones Podcast on Facebook. And if you want to let us know what you want to hear in the show, Game of Stones Podcast at gmail.com. Scott, Monday was St. Patrick's Day. How do you typically celebrate?
Well, Sean, typically privately.
Of course, yes.
No, when I lived in Montreal, we had a good time with St. Patrick's Day.
Big parade every year.
Big parade, and I was working shifts, so I was often not working that day. And so I remember, though, I curled in Montreal, and our skip was from Newfoundland and celebrated St. Patrick's Day hard.
Yeah.
And showed up to play. And I think he had been at Hurley's for like 6 hours before he came.
Wow.
I don't remember how he did. I do remember that though. But a lot of fun in Montreal for St. Patrick's Day. What about you? What do you do?
Yeah, not a big day for me. It's never been one. I New Year's, St. Patrick's Day, like these days that are like kind of designed to just go and like get sloppy are never my favorite. Right? Doug Smith calls them amateur hour.
Amateur hour. Yeah.
So those aren't my favorites. So typically not much. I do though remember over the years there have been ones where it's been really warm. And so people reveling out and about doing that. I did have actually a colleague say to me on Tuesday that March 18th is probably the best day to go to an Irish pub and get a Guinness, because the Irish pub probably won't be that busy. And two, the Guinness keg is probably very fresh.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think of that, but yeah, you're right.
So there you go. Tip for next year,
Sean.
Yeah.
We celebrated our team by having probably the best game of the season.
Yes,
I
best
think
all
that
around
we've all
game.
played.
Yep, for sure.
In control the whole time. Any of our misses were like half shots rather than full misses. So we benefited from some mistakes by the other team,
Sure
but that's the way it goes sometimes. But we're definitely in control the whole time.
Yes, got some breaks, took advantage of those breaks, and now there's only 2 games left for us in the curling season, and then we sort of put a pin in it and see how we make the transition to, well, there's still the year-end event that I'm going to play and you're going to play in probably for at least a game. But season is winding down for us and for the pros out there, and probably for a lot of folks out there as well. So I hope you enjoy these last few weeks of curling. We'll be with you to wrap up everything that's going on in a very busy time in the world of curling. So until we chat with you again, keep those brooms on the ice and don't dump that intern.
Make the final.